A very good evening to everybody, and welcome to Biz Hot Seat, the number one podcast where we will grill entrepreneurs on what they do, finding out their secrets to success, and going over or behind the shoulder to find out what makes them tick. And today we are very happy. We have a guest here, and I leave my wonderful co host, Charlene, to introduce him. Welcome,
Hi,
Charlene.
thank you. Thank you, Eugene. And very good evening to every one of you guys who just joined us and tune in here with us. Once again, I'm your host together with Eugene Tan, the SEO King here. I'm happy to see you. And once again, in our live stream, Biz Hot Seat. So beyond in this room, I'm a professional life coach and stress management expert who helped you to create a system to turn burnout into calmness in 60 minutes. So without further ado, I would like to give a very short introductions to our guest here that I feel really honored to have him here together with us in the Biz Hot Seat. He has been in the track and field coachings for the younger generations for about 20 years, right? 25 years, together with his own journey in the track and field scene here since his very early days in his journey, right? So he holds many kind of role from athlete to coach, club founder, lecturer, general manager, and also returning to coaching the younger generation nowadays. So I'm really happy to have Coach Tan here with us from Club Zoom. Let's bring it on, Eugene.
Welcome, Coach
Hi,
Hello,
Tan.
Coach Tan.
hello, good evening, everybody.
Hi.
Yeah, my name is
Right,
Coach
right.
Tan here.
Great, great. Let's have you to introduce us a little bit about yourself for the audience who may or may not know you here.
Okay. My name is Coach Tan Wei Leong, nickname Coach Tan. I probably in the track and field industry, fellow coaches who have known me or stakeholders in the industry that because I host events. So I'm in this track and field. I'm 42 this year, and I've been around for almost 30 years. Uh, 15 years as an athlete, and then about 22 years as a coach. Yes, I've been coaching since the age of 18 years old. And I could remember those days where, when I was in Polytechnic year one, I was really starting to coach my alma mater school, Kebun Baru Primary, because that's where I started, and out of my first secondary school, Paya Lebar MGS Girls School back then as well. Yeah,
Wow,
and
This
then
wow.
is amazing, and we've got my good friend Rayson Chu, who is
yeah,
tuning in from LinkedIn, and Rayson has his own podcast where he interviews a lot of trailblazers as well.
Yes.
So we are honored to have Rayson Chu here to watch
hello.
with us.
Yeah.
And we have Man Fernando in the house, which is another of our good friend. Man is a
Yes.
hypnotherapist by profession, and he
Yeah.
says, "Wow, 30 years of experience." Over to you, Coach
Yeah.
Tan.
Yes.
Yeah, Coach, let's have you, share with us why track
Mm.
and field at a very young age at that time, like 30
Mm.
years of experience, and you have started coaching the younger
Mm.
generations since 18 years old, right?
Mm.
Share
Mm.
with us a little bit more about journey and how did you get started?
Okay. You maybe when I share with everybody, I think the most memorable moment was I'm an EM3 student. So I clearly remember as an athlete at the age of primary three, there was a sports day where I was told to participate and then to qualify for national primary school championship. So I clearly remember that one. And I came in last in class. And so when I was in primary three, I was last in class. I was pretty upset because those days, um, we don't have handheld gadgets. I was just told to stay in school, and I belong to the last class of the class. I could remember. So all we know is about running, okay, and then running means a lot to me. It's like hope to me because back then athletics was the only CCA sports that we had, and then after that, you know, when I came in last during the trial, I was very upset. I told myself, I mean, I had the determination to say, hey, within that 1 year, I really want to do something about it. And then I really put in it. Back then, we don't even have the luxury of engaging professional coach. And I was very thankful of my PE teachers, probably, and the PE teachers are not so trained back then. They could be arts teacher and so on. And, and then they would say, coach, all the tips that we can share with you is please go and run 20 rounds or run 30 rounds. So, and I took it seriously, I say, hey, I will run 20 rounds. And I literally, deliberately, every day run 20 rounds, 30 rounds for the entire year, And those were the
Yeah.
days, those were my training methods, running 20 rounds, carrying my bags, running off, chasing off the bars and so on. And then after that, over time, I didn't realize that the source of training has transformed me within that year. So once I reached P4, right, and I had the trial, so not only I won the school selection trial, I went on to win the double goal 400 meter, 800 meter national primary school championship. And that was the
Wow.
turning point. Yeah.
Wow, that's really amazing here. What I like just now when you mentioned that the
Mm.
training comes from as simple as just running 20
One,
rounds, right?
yeah,
I
20
think
rounds.
there's a lesson here that I want
Mm.
to share with the audience here as well.
Mm.
No matter what we do, sometimes we
Mm.
don't pay attention to that small little things that we needed to do so
Mm.
that we can actually get the biggest end results that we have in our life. I think for
Mm.
your case, you make
Mm.
yourself a name in the track and field scene here
Yep.
by just running 20 rounds a day. So it will be good for any audience who is tuning in. Whatever things that you're working on right now, just
Yeah.
do that small things 20 times,
Yeah, 20
right?
times. Yeah.
Maybe if you're if you're working in terms of um, confidence, for example, in terms of
Mm.
speaking,
Mm.
just speak in front of audience 20 times. You
Yeah.
gain that 20 times of experience every single day, right? Go
Yes.
Shan.
I think this reminds me back to a very memorable events when we were growing up. Whenever we
Mm.
do something wrong, we are told to write lines 100
Mm.
times. Make sure we don't
Correct.
do it again. So
Yes.
it's kind
And,
of like, you know, uh, kind of
and
like
to,
writing and being familiar with
mm.
with ourselves, right? Like for you,
Mm.
you train many times means
Mm.
you gain the fitness, same like that.
But maybe just to
Yeah.
add one point that in case I forgot, I need to give gratitude to my teachers. And I can tell you, values in terms of gratitude means a lot today because I never forget of the teachings for my few mentors who even shower the love to me to this day. One of them, personally, what I would like to thank Mrs. Bala, who is my primary school teacher. She was the one who actually gave me hope at the turning point of what we call back then called primary seven.
Mm.
I was the extended class because I actually, after, even though I won the National Primary School Championship, I was still lagging in my PSLE score. And then she fought for me. I clearly remember she fought for me. She said, because there was almost to one extreme extent that I was about to be expelled from school. But she went to the principal office and said, hey, this guy going to be something in future. Let's give him the hope. Let's don't remove him out of the education system.
Wow. Wow.
If she
It's
have not hold
Wow.
me, because that moment, because I'm also come from a very difficult family, and then she know my family background, and he know what I really went through, and she know that I really want a breakthrough in life, and she hang on. She said, please focus on your sports, and then you know devote on it. And she was the first person to brought me back at the age of 18 years old, right? When I was in Polytechnic, or 19 years old, when I was in Polytechnic, she said, come back to serve your Omata school. And then within that
Wow.
year, yeah, correct. She was the one who brought me back, and then I found another prodigy back then. And within that year, I produced a individual best champion of another athlete, and then yeah, and so on. Then after that, I went on to coach Ang Mo Kio Primary for many years, and they won a couple of divisional titles. And then and you know, because they merged Kebun Baru Primary and Ang Mo Kio Primary, they merged together. And then yeah, in the end, there's I left quite a beautiful memory with Ang Mo Kio Primary, because we started with only something like 15 members or whatsoever. We actually at one point ballooned to 200 over members. Yeah, the whole
Wow.
school niche area become track and field back then. Yeah, and
and
we
Wow,
and
that's nice.
and really I'm inspired by your
mm,
sharing of Mrs.
yes,
Bala, right?
yeah,
and
Mrs.
and
Bala, correct. Yeah,
when she inspired you, it
yeah,
resulted in a chain reaction that you
yes,
inspiring others, and
correct.
that's amazing. That means you are living the true giving spirit that she has given you, right? And
Yes,
that's really very enlightening to hear.
correct.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and then of course that was the second teacher who I also want to pay gratitude, was the baton that passed to the next mentor, which is Kelvin Low, who
Mm.
is also another star behind my behind Club Zoom as well. You know, they both shower me with love. He took on the over the baton when I was in Sec 2. You know, I was studying normal tech. Then he was the one who spent a lot of time to put in the effort for me to just barely make it back to normal academic. And then from the normal academic, right, I mean, humbly, I got my master's in sport management. I
Wow.
went through. I got my master's at the age of 35, and then with many credentials along the way, lah. Yeah.
That's really like inspiring. You see the journey that Coach Tan has been through, and
Yes.
the people that he has met along the way, and
Mm,
he never give up, right? So, which
correct.
is why I want to bring back to that slogan behind your the
Yes.
Club Zoom, there, true to the spirit, right? Share with us a little bit more about Club Zoom and how did you found it, and yeah, why true to the spirit?
Okay. So previously, I actually started a business back in, I mean, when I was coaching, right? I started a business at the age of 25. I was into entrepreneurship at the age of 25. So back then the company was called Sprint Dynamics Sports Consultancy. But after that, after many years, and then of course there's another turning point at the age of 31, 32, when I become a father of my two kids as well. So you know, it's a blessing in disguise. But I also had to, at that point, I also had to think about, at a certain point, the concept of the company doesn't work for track and field in this case.
Mm.
Okay, I do relook at the model that actually, to the audience here, Club Zoom actually is a non-profit organization affiliated to Singapore Athletic Association. So we are actually in some way doing some form of volunteerism. And then of course our tagline, true to the spirit, is embedded by our 13 core values. And the core values resonate well to all our members in the club. Yeah, it's not so much about winning. In fact, I just have a message that parent asking me, is the club is about winning? So my answer is no. Because so long as every kids or every youth that went through our training, okay, I have really put in a lot of emphasis on the value itself. There will be a lot of teachable moments that we really want to share it with our kids or our youth. We want to see success story of our members. And 20 years, I mean, my testimony of my athletes have, I have doctors, my students have become doctors, you know, lawyers and so on. And they are jack of many trades. But I also had to emphasize on this part. um my athletes, some of them went astray. So
Mm.
and some of them are currently behind bar at the moment. Yeah. So there are also moments, and of course there are some, my star athlete, who I've missed very much to this day. He's up there already. Okay. Even though you know he won a SEA Games bronze medal, he's always in my heart and remind us that I have to continue the journey. That to continue to spread it to the message for all the generation of the athletes. Yeah, at one
Right,
point I
right.
almost wanted to say, I had enough of the coaching, but
Yeah.
lately, I just left Republic Poly a few years ago, and then I'm coming back into coaching because I feel that it's a second calling. That's why I'm back. Yeah.
It feels like this coaching on the track and field to rediscover the younger generations and helping them in this journey of
Mm,
becoming the athletes themselves. It's a very long and sometimes maybe
mm,
lonely journey for them. I think
yes.
now I understand why you say Mrs. Bala and also your
Mm,
coach Kevin actually
mm,
give you a lot of love and care
mm,
and really give you that chance. And I'm seeing that actually you want to pass it down to the next generations or the next star athletes that you're actually going to produce. Share with us, know where is the next goal? Like another sea game or is it Olympic, right? Yeah.
mm. I probably say that at this moment, I would rather focus more on the kids and youth development first. I felt that that is an important element, as like what our President Lian emphasized, because the next SEA game is actually happening in 2029 in
Mm.
our home ground. So the preparation that whether affiliated clubs or Active SG, all of us are actually coming in together to prepare for 2029. Yeah, so I
Wow.
mean, yeah, correct. So kids and youth form the backbone of the federation, a roadmap.
That's right. That's
Correct.
right.
So
There's a
at this
couple of
moment,
years.
I think, yeah, correct. If we get all these fundamental rights right, we should be moving forward to the direction that we wanted to be. In fact, we always look up to swimming. Swimming, they are the benchmark of our sports premium, and then that is the milestone that I mean, even though we are far away from it, but that they are the inspiration for us to follow. Yeah. Mm.
Wow, wow, nice, very
Yeah.
nice. Right, I would like to
Yes.
know a little bit more about
Mm.
I think when we talking about this particular sharing, right? You shared
Mm.
this thing.
Mm.
The club mantra goes like this, right?
Mm.
Not everyone can win races, but
Mm.
everyone can have the attitude of a champion,
Mm.
right? Share with us a
Yes.
champion attitude. Like, how do you
Mm.
how does being groomed within that sports itself, and how they can actually apply in their daily life. So I'm really curious. Some of your previous
Mm.
champions, they are
Mm.
doctors and they're lawyers. They are having great
Mm.
achievement, right?
Mm.
Even though some didn't make it, and then
Mm.
share with us a little bit more about this mantra here. That I find it very interesting.
I think that one the star athlete that I always like to talk about will be, of course, the athlete that passed away, but because he was with me for almost 14 years, I groomed him
Mm,
since a small boy, since 10 years old, and then I followed the journey with him all the way to SEA Games, and then something happened to him lah. But actually, uh, what I could remember of him, number one, is his attitude towards training. Okay,
mm,
his slogan will be Mr. One More. One more
wow,
means when you give him a certain rep, he will ask for more. He never asks for
wow,
less. And
wow,
he want breakthrough. And that is the
wow.
spirit that we are all talking about. That means if you really want to excel well, you must take the challenge. It cannot be just, hey, I do a certain effort and then you expect a certain result, because it's
Yeah.
cause and effect. Every champion that will tell you, it's all about planning, uh, taking care of the body, proper training, okay, and paying attention to details. So these are the stuff that I actually learned from all the great gurus in the world. And at the same time, I see all the Olympic runners in my own eye. I look at how they pay attention to all this. They are very meticulous to every details in their performance. Yeah, and they
Mm.
actually had a diary, and then they are very data driven. Yeah, that is the stuff that we are looking at for an for athletes who will succeed right at the top. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what.
I can so relate to what you just
Mm,
said, right?
mm,
Planning is very important and also the
yes,
execution, and still needed to, look at the details and come back and reflect and then to reapply things that is working and then to change things that is not working, right? And it's so
yes,
applicable to anyone who is working on certain projects, or maybe you have certain goals that you want to achieve in your life, and it's so applicable to learn from people in the sports scene, which I am truly so inspired by your sharing here, Coach Tan.
yes. Yeah, thanks.
Right,
And
right.
also
Great.
we have men tuning in from LinkedIn, and he says your power of gratitude is very inspiring, Coach Tan.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, thanks.
So we really felt it's very inspiring,
Yeah,
and we are glad that we are talking to you. So
yeah.
we want to find out a little bit more. If you are watching,
Mm,
this is Biz Hot Seat. If you just tune in to us, we are streaming it live on our YouTube channel,
mm,
bizhotseat.com. And if you are just joining us live, you can watch the replay for the full interview. So we
mm,
now go over to Charlene to carry on the
Thank you,
spicy stuff.
Eugene.
mm.
Spicy stuff. Coach Tan, having been
Yeah.
being in this industry for so long,
Mm.
who is besides Mrs. Bala and your other coach Kevin, and who is actually also your inspiration coach? And did you actually get coach or train under different types of professions in the athletics in scene? Yeah.
Yeah. So 10 years ago, you actually when I was you see I actually become a senior coach. In coaching, right, there is three levels. There's the coach, senior coach, and master coach. So at the age of 26, I was a senior coach. So back then I met Lawrence Seagrave. He was the one who was my instructor um, in Singapore. He came to Singapore and then he conducted the level 2 track and field course. Then he was sharing with me, hopefully I get to see you someday in the States. So at the
Mm.
age of 31, yeah, about 10 years ago, I was selected to attend my level 3, or previously known as level 5 course in IMG Academic, USA, Florida. So I was overwhelmed. I was sent there with the blessing of Republic Poly, uh, Singapore Athletic Association, and Sports Council. Very grateful for them. And when I was there in the States, I get to see another legendary coach called John Smith, together with Lawrence Seagraves. Yeah, and I was very impressed. And they share with us about how the training methodology was taught in the States, and how different interdisciplinary agency work together, uh, and then how actually it doesn't. When I was down there, I was very impressed because IMG itself is really huge. Okay, the venue itself is literally like a park like that, and they have so many stadium, they have so many track, gym, and so on. They're so complex in that, yeah, in their very massive setup. And I realized that a lot of their so-called the way they work is very closely connected, and they emphasize on the word called team IMG. Yeah,
Mm.
so it's a very complex. This is something that I really learned, that I didn't realize that high performance, um, you have to work with inter-agency. Yeah, and yeah, correct. So that is the part that when I bring back, and this is exactly what I'm going through currently as well. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm,
Having trained internationally with
mm,
some of the renowned coaches,
yes.
um, you are also bringing in the so-called the technology, the know-how, and
Yeah.
how to train, best train the athletics best in Singapore, like
Yeah.
home breed, right?
Yes.
So share with us a little bit more about these programs that is available in Club Zoom, and how do you incorporate the experience and the learnings from your own previous training from your coaches, and then
Mm.
how do you actually incorporate it into the Club Zoom program today? Share
Okay.
with us
So
a little bit more.
what I'm learning, I mean, what I previously learned, that is actually at very high levels of performance. But like I say, when I came back, I actually attended the second level 5 course back in Singapore. I mean, 2018, I was again, uh, I went to the NTU under the Southeast Asia uh, level 5 course. And then I went through the chief youth coach because I realized that for Singapore athletics to do well, the kids and youth play a very important part. Not so much at elite level yet, because that part is, I mean, that the federation is currently working with them right now. No, there's no issue with them. But the more important part, the element is the kids and the youth. Okay, the what we call the long-term athletics development plan. And then last year itself, together with Singapore Athletics Federation, we launched off this program called the Kids Athletic, which is a national kids athletic program. Okay, we launched off at Kallang Practice Track, and then it's a team. It's a kids athletic program that consists of multiple activities where you get to run, jump, throw, and in the running itself, it also break down into so many various type of activity like running over hurdles, running over ladders, and you know, in the form of team, you know, they get to play with team versus team and so on. Because children, we do not want them to specialize. We want to give them as much exposure as possible. Then, of course, from the jump sides, you still have things like learning how to skate, learning how to do a bit of cross-hop, learning how to do probably pole vault. You know, these are the things that normally you won't get the exposure in the local opportunity. Yeah. So
Wow.
with the federation support, yeah, this is the opportunity we had. Yeah.
So, how young is the kids can be able to join Club Zoom program to learn all the jump, throw, and yeah, run, right?
Okay.
So, what is the starting age?
Okay. So the age group start from as young as 4 years old.
Hmm,
Yeah, we
right.
just started a preschool program for from 4 years old all the way to 14 years old. Yeah, so that is the age gap. So when you sign up for the program, right, you will attend by their respective age group, like 4 to 6, 7 to 9, and so on. So they will break into their respective age group, and there will be a syllabus that follow up from preschool all the way to youth category. Yeah,
I see, I see.
in stages.
Wow, that's really nice to know that it's starting
Mm.
from 4 years old, and
four
then you
years old.
can start exposing your children into
Yes.
the athletics scene here. Having Coach Tan with so many years of experience, and he
Mm.
himself is also a runner in the past and won a couple of medals as well. That is like so inspiring here to have him to coach the children. If your kids is actually have some talents in terms of running, right? So do look out for Club Zoom over there, right?
So if you find your nephew or niece irritating, send them to go and run. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, by the way.
Yeah. So for those who just tune in here, we are in the Biz Hot Seat here together, myself, Charlene, and Eugene, and together we are into having a conversation here with Coach Tan from the Club Zoom over here. And if you like the show, please do share and also like and subscribe our YouTube channels over here. Eugene, do you have any questions that you would like to burning question you would like to grill Coach Tan here?
Yeah, I always like to ask this question, because last time I was speaking to a priest, and then he was sharing with me that he went through Vietnam War and all this kind of thing as a priest and trying to get the people to safety. Then I asked him, would you do all this all over again? And he said yes. So I want to know, like, your inspiration behind all this, like, why
Mm.
you started and what really
Mm.
kept you going. And if you are gonna
Mm.
do it again, right, why will you do it
Mm.
again? Maybe you can share with us this aspect of learning.
As earlier mentioned, Club Zoom is non-profit organization, right? Our core mission actually, especially this year with our 10, I mean last year our 10-year anniversary, the last core value that we actually developed is called inclusive. It is our heartbeat
Mm.
together with my mentor dreams. It is to help the fellow needies family. That is our core because I was once a needy family and the sports transformed my life. So this is the platform where we are trying to raise fund for fellow needy athletes, and because we want to give them equal platform. And talking about this, we actually had our upcoming Kindred Spirit, which is our main event of the year. Because every year, this is the ninth Kindred Spirit. We will have thousands of athletes attending this event next month in November. Yeah, over a 3 days event, and we have from preschool all the way to uh, adult masters category, and then even had athletes from overseas coming all the way. We have athletes coming from as far as from Japan as well. So
Ah,
they are all excited to come to give our childrens and youth the early exposure. Yeah.
This
so
event,
one thing
share
that
with us a little
inspired
bit more.
me, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, wait. I think one
Yeah,
thing
go
that
ahead.
inspired me was when
Yeah.
when you said that if
Mm,
if I have a kid and all that,
mm,
my kid doesn't know what they want. I
mm,
remember you saying that let them
mm.
try out rather than
Yes.
saying no, you're not good at it.
Yeah, correct.
Tendency, we have a fear that our kid will not do football, but if we don't try, they won't know, right, whether
Yes.
they like it.
Correct.
And that
Yes.
is really, I think that is really what the spirit of true coaching is all about. And
Correct.
like, sorry for interjecting, because I really felt that I really felt moved by this.
Yeah.
And yeah, like what Charlene said, right? Perhaps maybe you can tell us a little bit more about this
Mm.
kindred spirit. Sounds like a very big thing. Sounds like, a massive thing to organize. Maybe you can
Yeah.
share with us, more. Yeah.
Okay, so for Kindred Spirit, right, we started since 9 years ago. The first one was at Singapore Polytechnic. Back then, we wanted to give that platform for athletes, to get early exposure. And I remember the first athlete actually came from Chinese Taipei, Wang Wentang. He was the Asia game gold medalist, who was it part of the 4x100 meter Asia Game gold medalist. He was one of the representatives. He was there to run and inspire the athletes. And then today, the Nine Kindred Spirit, I'm pleased to share that many athletes have raised the bar locally and international to this and constantly inspire all our children. They come all the way from around the region. They were here, they perform, because our kids don't really get a chance to see high performance. And then not only they get to compete, they get to see the champ. Yeah. And that was something
Wow.
that we wanted to inspire them. And last year itself, even though we went through the pandemic, we actually host the eight kindred spirit. I mean, under a lot of restriction. I mean, it was a very tough period that everyone was feeling down at that time, and I mean, thanks to the government agency, really appreciate for what their contribution to all of us. The spirit goes on. We need to hold on. We need to get everybody together. Everybody need to come out and run. That's true to the spirit. You get me? You can see the energy that I'm getting at. So even during the pandemic, it was an episode that remind us that we had to remember our core mission. We had to shoulder on. And just 3 months ago, before this Kindred Spirit, we have the smaller series event with our federation, the Kids Athletic Fiesta. I just want to recall one memorable moment, because at that moment, at the event itself, it was pouring. So does it mean, sometimes parents always like to ask me this question, when it pour, does it mean we totally cancel the event? The answer is no. It was pouring. The children were all enjoying. The children was all enjoying under the rain, drizzling, and they really fought under the rain. They ran their heart out. They ran many rounds, and then after the race, they were all panting, and the club reminded them one simple gesture: do remind to shake your friend's hand after the race. And they will deliberately really put in that effort, because that was something that I learned from the Japanese culture. When I was in Japan, I saw at every race, after they finish the race, the athlete will actually turn around and bow to their competitor, and in a form of respect. So what I'm trying to emphasize here, the values have to be cultivated, and it takes time. Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is something that we will really want, I mean, our members to learn through, to respect the officials, to respect the parents, to respect their competitors, to know that this is just the sport itself. That's the beauty of the sport. It's not just about winning or losing. Everyone can be true to the spirit. Yeah.
Wow, that is like so inspiring. It's not about the immediate hurdles that you see that you should stop, right,
Mm,
immediately, but
mm,
you pull it through, right, under
Fully true.
still under an acceptable condition. But
Yes.
sometimes people see hurdles, they will just go like, okay, let's go, let's stop it,
Mm,
and then that's when all the momentum, all the consistency
mm,
practices that happened in the past got just tempered down because of that small little hurdles. I
yeah.
think what Club
And
Zoom truly believe in is getting
Mm,
people um, going through the challenges, the
mm,
roadblocks under a
mm,
condition that is still acceptable, right? And then
mm,
show them a different side of possibility. Right, that's
yeah.
what Club Zoom is actually wanting to let people, the younger generation, see a different possibility that you still can run, right?
Mm,
Unless you're talking about thunderstorm,
yeah.
lightning,
Correct. Yeah.
then it's a different situation where safety is in concern. Then the
Correct.
event has to like delay a little bit, right? But if
Yes.
it's under a drizzling condition, and it's very strange that when you say some
Mm,
people would want to stop, but I find
mm,
that it is
mm.
okay sometimes, right?
Yes.
And it is a form of practice as well, right,
Correct.
Coach Tan?
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
wow.
and
That
and
because
we
even that.
we've got
Mm,
a comment here that says that hello, my 10-year-old son and 7-year-old girl is in KA. I believe is in a country, the different
mm,
country. I'm hoping that they
mm.
will learn the competition in a healthy uh and good sportsmanship. And
Yes.
we also have another one, Kalai, Nathan. Yes, I
Yeah.
correct, and I agree with you, Coach Tan.
Yeah.
Wow, wow. So this no, end of November event itself, right?
Mm,
So is it open for public to come in and then watch the show, the race,
yes.
and then there is also participants who can actually still register. I believe still open 2 more
Yes.
days, right?
Uh,
Yeah.
we, we, we
Uh,
are extending a bit. So we still
okay.
allow a bit of grace time.
Right,
And
right.
I actually, I just want to, because there's still one more very important event. On the third day itself, if you have a team of eight kid, sorry, a total of 12 kids that can form out a team, or if you don't have, you just send inquiry back to Club Zoom. We will form out the team for you. We have this activity called Team Kids Athletic Championship,
Mm.
where they will go through a series of obstacle course, like not sprint, run, jump, throws, and then they will work as a team to go through the journey together. Yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah.
it's a guided event on the
Yes.
third day of the Kindred Spirit Run
Yes.
itself. I believe this one is in the Kalang
Palang practice track,
Athletic. Yeah,
Practice
home
track.
of
Charlene practice,
athletics.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, home of
Correct.
athletics. I think
Yes.
we're gonna post a link here for those who want to sign up, and then please go
Yes.
ahead and take a look at it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can go over to
Yeah.
clubzoom.org.sg.
Yes.
It is parked under the event menu over there, right? And
Yes.
we can also place a link over here for those who are interested to bring down your kids to try out on the third day itself. The details of the event is actually available in the Club Zoom website here, right,
Yeah.
Coach Tan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. Mm.
Wow, wow, that's really nice over here that to get to
Yeah.
know this yearly events for Club
Yes.
Zoom, that
Yeah.
is also a grooming event for those who are interested to run. Okay, there is Ira. Ira is asking, is there any tips, for kids to learn loving sports? So how would you want to answer this, Coach Tan?
I think the
Let's keep the
important.
Eugene. Let's keep the question over there, Eugene. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
Coach
So
Tan.
So I think very important is we try not to push the athlete too much when they're young. Very important is even I give an example of my daughters lah. I don't get them specialized in track and field alone. They take part in track and field. They do a bit of ballet. They do netball. They do swimming and so on. They cross train a bit, and then of course they had their me time as well. So what I'm trying to emphasize here is balance. I strongly encourage parents do not specialize their kids when they are young. So that's why even at club Zoom level, our training is kept max twice a week. We don't encourage 3 times, 4 times training because we do not want the athletes to suffer burnout. Yeah, because in athletics, talking about high performance, right? We are talking about 16 years old and above. Yeah, so anything before the youth, right? They should be exposed to as much as variety as possible. You get me? Yeah, and then after that, because some of the other skills where we call it fundamental movement skill, we can borrow other skills to continue the journey. If let's say later part they decide that they want high performance. So when we coach, especially my elite athletes, right? It is an empowerment. They want it, not because we force them to do it. So when they start to really enjoy the sport itself, and they will make the decision later part in their life, they will say, Papa, Mama, I'm ready. I'm ready to say, hey, I'm ready to go deeper into this. Then of course we have venues like Singapore Sports Schools, as the platform to make that decision. Hey, I really want to go into that direction. Yeah.
I think like what you say, I think like exposure is important, right? To get them explore a couple of things, to let them
Yes.
realize and discover for themselves their passion, whether they like it. They
Yes.
they don't have to like run like mad like when you were younger.
No, no need, no need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In fact,
but basically you get them to run or
mm,
jump or whatever that they feel like it, right? The I think
correct.
the most important thing is to get started
Yes,
than anything,
correct.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, correct. The
Yeah.
foundation is
And
still important, but not so much about the specialization. Yeah. Mm,
yeah, and we've got the Zoom here, the
yes.
club Zoom details here
Yes.
on the link
Mm,
here, and you guys can pick it up wherever that you are tuning in the live from. The comment will be left there, right?
yeah.
So so tell us more a bit about Club Zoom. When they go
Mm,
there, besides running,
mm,
what are some of the activities, or are there any fringe activities that people can participate, or
mm,
are you looking for people that maybe businesses that are complementary
mm,
to providing services to kids, whether
mm.
can they set up booths or anything like that? Maybe you
Yeah.
can tell us a little bit more about this. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are constantly on the lookout to work with uh business partner to promote our opportunity. So if let's say if you have any products or services that you deem feel that's suitable with us, because we are going to run quite a series of events in coming months. Yeah. So Kindred Spirit is definitely every November. Yeah. So do keep that in the calendar. And then we do have many other series of events coming up. And then if you to find out more, you can just get in touch with me, yeah, or Club Zoom. Yeah.
Right. So how do we find you, Coach Tan? They just go to Club Zoom and then drop a note there from
Actually,
the
you can
website.
just the easiest is to buzz me over the Club Zoom Facebook page, and then I will reply you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the easiest.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So for those who want to keep in touch or have any other questions for Coach
Mm,
Tan, you can go
mm,
over to the Club Zoom Facebook page.
mm,
We're gonna paste it in the comments like soon,
mm,
so that you can like the Facebook page and then
mm,
yeah, get in touch with Club Zoom. Coach Tan and other coaches from the Club Zoom as well. We have this comment here coming from Man.
mm.
Yeah, he says that definitely one of the great way to create discipline and sportsmanship since young. It
Yeah.
is it's very true indeed. A lot of habits and also the way of being is actually cultivated since young, right?
Mm,
So if your kids are exploring for sports, why not go over to Club Zoom and take a look at what's available there that is suitable for the kids, right? So curious question. Every single audience, the guests coming up to the Biz Hot Seat, we want to know a little bit more secret behind the scene from your industry, right? That you can that's not commonly known by the public, that you can share it with us here. That treat this as like an education moment as well. Go ahead, Coach Tan.
Okay, so for example, behind the scenes, right? Actually, there's it's not easy to manage Club Zoom. Actually, we have about 40 coaches under our umbrella, and then constantly, it really. I mean, I do credit the team of Club Zoom, fellow coaches. It's not about. I mean, many times in the public is they probably associate Coach Tan is Club Zoom, but I had to give it credit to the team behind it, as particularly the Horn secretary. She's actually doing a marvelous job behind the scene. Yeah. Then of course
Wow.
the fellow coaches and their respective appointment, and then we constantly work as a synergy to communicate and coordinate, because it's not easy to manage a few hundred kids and youth. Yeah.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
There's like few hundred kids and youth,
Yeah.
and being taken care by 40 over coaches, and
Yes.
Club Zoom is being run as non-profit, and
Yes. We don't
with
even
the
have full-time
intention,
staff
yeah,
yet. Yeah.
really with the intention to inspire people in the sports scene, and then
Yes.
really running true to the spirit. And I'm really
Yeah.
feeling this. I'm not so sure whether Eugene is agreeing with this, right? It's
Yeah.
really, really inspiring.
I am really liking the comment that Era is putting in. It's definitely a good movement to get your kids
Yeah.
out of the screen time on
Yes.
iPhone and iPad. I
Yeah. Correct.
perfectly feel you, Era. As
Yes.
a parent, young parent, and all this is
Yeah.
one of those things that we struggle with essentially.
Yes.
So rather than play with iPad, go and get your kids to run or play
Yes.
tennis or whatever. There's so many things
Mm.
that they can discover, right? And we have
Yes.
our accounts. I believe our accounts has tuned in to us in the last session, right? And our account says nice. And
Mm.
yeah, Ira is laughing away. She can really identify with what we are saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really very inspiring. I mean,
May-
and
Maybe
it's
just to
needed,
add
no?
on, Eugene, just to add on this part about, especially you mentioned about when for the kids to play the what's that, the phone. You know, the moment, just get them calm down. When the moment they start playing as a team championship and start that, they will eventually glue to catching. Those days when when we were young, we play at the void deck, we were doing catching, throwing sand at each other. Those type of stuff. Actually, we are doing some form of kids athletic back then already. Am I right? But so it's the same model we actually apply, but in a more uh, educational way lah, of doing it. So I'm pretty sure when more and more kids just take their screen off and then come and play, I tell you, every week they will be looking for each other. Hey, I'm going to challenge you. They will be telling each other, I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to throw further than you. I'm going to jump faster than you. And then after they doing the run, sometimes it's a bit of ego thing. I cannot lose to you. I want to beat you. Yeah, you beat me. So they will be, they will have endless debate lah. But anyway, that's children, and this is something that we let them to have their space, to let them have the social, I mean the space for them to interact with each other. Yeah.
Actually,
Wow.
to make new
It's
friends
really,
as well, right?
To
Yeah.
make
yeah.
new friends as well. Correct. Yeah. Correct.
Wow.
And
We are
and then
recreating the sand play
yeah,
in the
simply,
stadium.
yeah. Correct.
Wow,
Mm,
nice, nice.
yeah.
Right. Coach Tan, we're gonna end having towards the end of this
Mm,
sessions over here. We'd like to really appreciate your time in here and sharing with us.
yes.
Any last words for the audience in terms of
Mm.
the last word for the parents, or maybe last word for those people who are inspired by your story, or maybe a last line over here that you would like to share here with the
I think
audience.
it still draw back to our tagline, true to the spirit, because I think in anything that we do, right, I always feel that sports, whether is it sports, arts, music, or whichever um, you know, niche that you're in, the spirit is very applicable back to the academic side. Yeah,
Mm,
because whatever you learn, whether you're in music, art, and so on, you talk about time management, you talk about discipline, and so on. Because all but in any of the domain, right, it is still transferable back to the education side, and that is
mm,
the turning point. They both must coexist. Yeah. So back to, you mean in the past, right? MOE normally call us like ECA, but this day they call it CCA, core curriculum. So that is the very big emphasis that they both must coexist. Yeah. So even to this day, right? We are. I mean, just like true to the spirit, I still had to put in a lot of effort to maintain myself. Am I right? I
wow,
still had to.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
So the
definitely
spirit
can
must continue
resonate
to
with that. Yeah.
the very last day. Yeah.
Yes, I definitely can resonate with that because it is true to the spirit. It doesn't mean that you only
Mm,
good at one thing. It is
yeah.
an integral attention that is allowing us to be true to the spirit to ourselves, even regardless what you do. For
Mm,
children, is there's always academic side, but the
yeah.
sports also not to be neglect so that
Mm,
they can actually grow as a whole as a person eventually, right?
yeah.
And using the skills that they learn when they are young to
Mm,
actually inspire others, right? And I
correct.
think Coach Tan can group another Coach Tan, another Coach Tan, and another Coach Tan for
Yeah.
many generations to come, right, Coach Tan?
Yes. Yes.
Right, great, great, awesome. For the audience who just tune in, unfortunately, we are going to come into the end of the show over here, and really lovely to have Coach Tan over here with us this evening to share about his story and also making himself visible here together with us in the YouTube live here. Yes,
Yes.
Eugene, would you like to end this?
Yes, I think what really struck me in this conversation is that, you know, as parents, it is natural that we focus a lot on grades and all that. But
Mm,
as you can see, it's not only Coach Tan that is telling you that. Even the MOE schools, Ministry of Education schools in Singapore, are also putting an emphasis on this, right? So I have my kids that is taking taekwondo, judo, and all this. They really rotate them in all sort of different sports, all sort
mm,
of different arts, so that
mm,
they have a more well balanced education. And I think that is important to me, really,
mm,
as a young parent,
mm,
to really kind of nurture the kids. And like
mm.
what Coach Tan say, don't force them, but let them be exposed to the sports and let them pick which one they like. So that's my kind of like parting thoughts. What about you, Charlie?
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. Like what inspired me is when we are growing, excelling in many areas, and then all the things that we learn in one area is definitely able to cross use, and it's that is what I mean by as a whole, right? But as a person, and the spirit always stays with us,
Mm,
right? Great. We have a comment here coming from Rodney at the very last minute here, and he's congratulating you on wonderful
yeah.
work. And
Yeah.
for
Thank you.
those audience who just tune in, you can watch the replay when we upload the video slightly shorter later. And for those who want to keep in touch with Coach Tan, go over to Facebook, look for Club Zoom, and then like the page Club Zoom SG, and then like the page, and then you can send in a message there for any questions and queries that you want to ask Coach Tan. And don't forget about the Kinder Spirit Run over in the end of November. The link is over here in this video here, and we're going to post in the comment as well. Click it, and Coach Shai has kindly to extend a few more days for registrations. Go ahead, and because this is a really yearly event where you get to see all the high performance runners from around the region. So they are coming into Singapore, and then it's a 3 days event. And on the last day, if you would like to have your kids to try out what is all this run, jump, throw is all about, go down, register for the event, and then the clubs will help you to take care of that. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Right. I would like to wish every audience over here a very good evening over here. And thank you, Coach Shan. Thank you,
Thank you,
Eugene.
Charlene, and
Thanks,
thank you,
Coach Tan.
Eugene. Appreciate that. Yeah, really appreciate.
Right.
Yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
let's
All
say
right,
goodbye
so
to
we'll just do
everyone.
a wave.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Bye.
Bye.